Teachers who Zoom classes. What's the most disturbing thing you've seen on a student's Zoom? Lots of arguing. Lots of lonely kids. Lots of kids taking care of younger siblings, all alone. Lots of kids who are in a different place every day. Nothing really disturbing, but very eye-opening about how different lives can be. I'm continually surprised at how loud some of the houses are. TVs blaring, music on full volume, people screaming non-stop, all while the student is sitting placidly, seemingly, paying attention to me. Not so much disturbing as much as a potentially gross situation. An uncle decided to undress on camera while his nephew was in class. I very quickly called for cameras off and heard the 12-year-old kid say, "Uncle Dave, what the fuck bro? I'm in class." It's mostly loud houses, a lot of swearing from parents, TVs blasting in the background, and the smoke alarms. The smoke alarms. The constant chirping drove me nuts. Edit note. Uncle Dave is mentally disabled. Scene. Naked grandma slowly limping through the background. Fortunately, since I was screen sharing, I don't think anyone else noticed. Either that or these 10-year-olds have the best poker face ever. Heard. In the background at full volume. Well, you tell that motherfucker that the next time I see him I'm cutting his balls off. I couldn't get the student muted in time. She sat there totally stoic about the whole thing, and her home life was already on our radar. But there was a second or two of silence and one kid just goes, "That wasn't school-appropriate language at all." I taught first grade remotely all year at a high-poverty school. Thankfully I'm going back in person in this fall. However, it was very enlightening seeing each kid's home life and all the obstacles they deal with on a daily basis, and then seeing their awesome resilience. I've had dads walking around without their shirt, which is just funny, emo. It's insane the amount of terrible language parents use when kids turn their mics on. Like, really disturbing stuff. Had to call home on that one. One time, this kid couldn't hear anything I was saying and I couldn't hear him because parents were fighting in the background and it was really nasty. So, this sweet little guy went to the bathroom, sat in the bathtub, and closed the curtain so he could keep learning. Love that kid. So this isn't disturbing, more wholesome. But I'm a professor lecturing via Zoom, and the best thing I saw during an online lecture was a student that would cook and food prep each week in his kitchen. The other students would get really into it and ask what he was cooking each week. It was just really sweet. Smile. Student told us she had a new puppy. Then she didn't show us the puppy. I was giving a recertification training class and there, in the background, was a student's roommate and their partner making the beast with two backs on the floor of the living room. The student, bless his heart, had headphones on and was not at all paying attention to what was going on behind him. I tried nudging him via DM, but eventually had to accidentally disconnect his access and give the class a break so I could call him on the phone. So, a few minutes later, he's back on, his face beet red. The roommate and their partner have left and my class, a group of heavy equipment operators, had the good grace to act like they hadn't seen a thing. Everyone passed and I look forward to never having to see the insides of anyone's house ever again. Oh, I've got some crazy ones. There's this student who's always doing something instead of actually, studying. Every time she does something we send a text to the WhatsApp group with all of the teachers saying, "Hey, guess what less than student did today?" Some of the weirdest things she's done include, but are not limited to, washing her hair on the sink, riding a horse during class, having guests over, having a heated argument with her husband over dirty socks, grocery shopping, driving, and yelling at pedestrians. Also, she never turns her mic or camera off, and whenever I try to do it for her, she turns it back on. Every time she logs into my classes I think, today I'll quit my job. I had to interrupt a student I was meeting with to let her know I could see her roommate, who was in a towel and about to start changing. I am an 8th grade English teacher. Today was my last school day, and I am so glad we are done with this dumpster fire of a school year. I gained many treasured Zoom memories this year, including the following: a student's mom dragging him away from the computer, only to have him return 5 minutes later freshly shaved and naked. Multiple parents cursing at their children. A mom and her boyfriend breaking up in the background while a student tried to work. A younger sibling, age 2 or 3-ish, poking the cat into the butthole while it strolled in front of the webcam. A student finally turning on his camera to discover that his family should be on hoarders. Yes, I made the appropriate reports. No, nothing changed. Not really disturbing, but on the very first day of virtual classes in my very first period, I had 2 Zoom bombers come in and start yelling obscenities on their mics. I wasn't familiar with the software at all, so it took me a minute to figure out how to mute, kick, ban them. Not a Zoom class but a Zoom domestic abuse group meeting. In the middle of a meeting one of the women's husband came on screen and immediately started yelling at her. She quickly hung up the call after the therapist yelled out. Police were called and everything. Haven't heard from her since. Saw a parent hit their special needs child on camera this year in the middle of class. Like full-on backhanded slap. Had to immediately shut down my class, contact my principal and file a police report. My anxiety levels were through the roof for a while after that situation. Naked mom on the background. And took a while for one of the students to point out. Poor guy, I can only imagine the bullying he was through after that. Someone was half off camera so you could see their shoulder and top half of their arm and was obviously jacking off. The class group chat started freaking out too. I'm not a teacher, but my teacher went to use the washroom and forgot to mute. We heard everything. Not at all disturbing in the sense you were going for, but I can't understand the number of beeping smoke alarms. How does one live like that? How long does it happen before you tune it out? What happens if there's actually a fire and these detectors clearly don't have batteries? So many questions. Middle school teacher here. Dad was clearly smoking a joint in the background in only his boxer shorts. 10 a.m. in the morning. I kicked the kid out of the meeting to help save him from embarrassment and told the student it was a technical problem on my end and that I would excuse him from the day's assignment. There's a video circulating in Romania with a teacher literally wiping his ass while teaching on Zoom. He does it so casually, laughing my ass off. It's at university level. Your ex texts you, I am dating someone better than you. What's your reply? Do not say a darn thing. He or she is texting you for attention and clearly you still mean something to them. The immaturity and pettiness though should be enough of a reminder why they are now your ex. Better not let him find out you've been texting your ex then. Sorry, who's this? Ain't getting a response. I've deleted and blocked you. Nothing unless you still cared about them. They either wanted to make you jealous or they are a spiteful person. Either way it's not a personality trait that is good. My ex did and I said, send her my condolences. I've run out of fucks to give that for that garden gnome. Poor dude. I'm sorry, who are you? False. I don't reply. Give me her number. I need to tell her about this great therapist. That's a very low bar. Send his number. We can be STD buddies. Thank you for contacting us. We've been trying to reach you about your car's extended warranty. Then why are you texting me? I married someone better than you. That's actually sad. He's better than me and yet she's out there still thinking of me. I'll just hit her with, good victory hand medium light skin tone. Cool, threesome? Whatever ex's sister's name. Good luck. You're now someone else's problem. You can get a new lover and you can get a new life but you can never unlick my asshole.